I think we lost Joe Rogan. I think he's gone. I think he's part of them now. He's accepted too much money at this point. It's got to be the only logical answer as to why there's so many holes in everything that he's saying. Number one, the clip of him calling Theo Von crazy as Theo Von speaks truth on everything that's happening in the world right now with politicians and global elites. And Joe Rogan's response is, "You're fucking crazy, dude. You're losing your marbles. Get off those antidepressants and come hang out with us." First of all, Joe, who is us? Are you saying that you are part of them? You are part of that group and that Theo Von needs to join you guys now, just like you've joined them?
And for you to say you need to come hang out with us, stop drinking that Kool-Aid, trying to attack someone and criticize someone, to talk about someone, to say it must be the medicine that you're taking, and then also say you need to come hang out with us, pretty much to call somebody crazy, and then to say, hey, you need to come hang out with us, that right there is contradicts yourself alone.
There's another video that I just watched of him telling Theo in that same podcast that when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, he was in Utah, like elk hunting or something. And then it follows up with a clip of him doing his podcast with Charlie Sheen and finding out the news right then and there when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And it shows him going, we just heard that Charlie got assassinated. He takes his headphones off and he's, so what's going on? Whose side are you on? And why are you just blatantly lying to Theo Von during the podcast with him? And why are you like all of a sudden anti, not democracy, but just like anti for the people? Because you wouldn't have said that if you're not. You know what I mean? And Theo Von is a pretty good dude. Like he's always speaking his mind, as we know. And he just says the politicians are slurping kids and doing evil things. And Democrats, Republicans are all the same, which is, we all know it at this point. Those of us with a brain, we all are aware of the fact that everything.
Pretty much saying the math ain't mathing, and that the true American people, the ones that is saying that's quote unquote woke, he's saying that there's no sides. He's saying there's no Democratic or Republican, that they all are in this cahoots together as one. What do you guys think about that?
Things a lie. And then Joe Rogan, Mr. Free Thinker here, goes, oh, you're crazy. He's gone. He's done. Joe Rogan's cooked. He's part of the now. He's part of the elites. He's gotten paid too much at this point, and he's never coming back. And there's another clip of him as well from years ago talking about, something about money. And he goes, that flat earth money, that flat or that round earth money. That's what he said. He said that round earth money.
For him to be thinking that Joe Rogan is done is very unrealistic, man. I know you have your disagreements. You feel like you are against him. You feel like some of the information that he said isn't accurate, isn't true. He said that he was in Utah when he found out about Charlie Kirk, when he was actually doing a podcast with Charlie Sheen and heard the news on this podcast. And he's wondering, like, why is he lying, or why is this information not accurate? Ask him. I don't know. But is that going to tarnish Joe Rogan and people going to turn against him and stop watching his podcast and people going to not like him anymore? No, that's not realistic. He's successful. He's growing his brand. He's making more money. That now, because of that, he must be a part of some secret elite group. I don't think that as well. He has his opinions and he can think what he want to think, but I think he's highly inaccurate.
And that he's getting paid to say that the earth is round instead of flat. So just be cautious, everybody, of Mr. Rogan. I don't think he is who we thought he is anymore.
Curious to know. I've heard people talking about the argument that some people think the earth is flat. Some people think the earth is round. Truly, if it's flat or round, how is that going to get your bills paid? That has to do with you. Like, truly, how is that going to make you more disciplined, help you reach your goals? How does that help you? I'm curious to know. If it does, please let me know. If we find out, hey, the earth is actually flat instead of it being round, then we get to be able to have more joy, more peace. We get to get this check that comes to us, or we get to find love, or we get to help our parents. How does it benefit us in any way? I'm curious to know, if the earth is flat, if the earth is round, what does that have to do with me? What does that have to do with what we got going on? What does that have to do with anything that's happening? Please enlighten me. Let me know, because I'm curious to know.
And Joe Rogan been bought out. I'm telling you, Joe Rogan has been bought out. Somebody bought him. Even his responses, I've been watching him for years. I've been watching the Joe Rogan podcast for years, and he done switched up. I'm telling you, when the last time Theo got on there, and he was speaking about we done got poison and all this, and Joe was acting like he didn't know what he was talking about. But I'm telling you, on some of the shows that I done seen, Joe was saying the exact thing Theo was saying. Joe Rogan has been bought out. Theo is like Kanye. They can't buy him. They can't buy him.
Now he got me really interested. Now I need to go watch the podcast or listen to the podcast or listen and watch the podcast if it's on YouTube. But just because someone is making more money, earning more income, is not responding the way that they used to respond 2 years ago, that means that they have been bought out. Someone's has seen different things, maybe have different experiences, a different perspective. Just because he's not answering and saying things exactly what you want him to say, you against him. That's what it comes down to as well. Oh dang, this person, he had this person on this podcast, he had Theo on this podcast, and Joe didn't respond the way that he typically would have responded, or I remember him responding years ago. Yes, maybe certain things he has to be more corporate. Certain things he literally can't say.
Coming from.
He got a platform. He got a following that love him to death because he's a natural, because he's authentic. Joe Rogan has been bought out. Somebody gave him a call. I'm telling you, somebody gave him a call and told him, you talking too much. You already know too much. And they bought him out. That's why he don't respond like he used to respond. Even when Terrence get on there, he try to make Terrence look like a fool. I'm telling you, Joe Rogan has been bought out. I've been watching him for years.
I'm catching a ton of hate right now. The past 12 or so hours have been really interesting since I posted this video about Joe Rogan doing the podcast with Theo Von, saying that he was in Utah at the time of Charlie Kirk's assassination. But then when Charlie Kirk got assassinated, he was literally on his podcast with Charlie Sheen. And I made this post saying it's weird what he's saying, and it sounds like he's switching sides. And it sounds like, from the looks of it, after doing a little further research, it looks like I got clip farmed, right? Where I fell for a clip that was out of context and just responded to it right away. But here's the pros of this.
One thing I can and take my hat off to this guy and say is he made a video, gave some inaccurate, wrong information, came back on to confess, to take ownership and say, hey, I was wrong. What I said was wrong. I got clip for him, seen some information, and I spoke about that. Now he's coming on to correct that. That's all you can ask for at the end of the day. Taking accountability. Do people make mistakes? Yes. But the ones who try to hide from it and don't confess it and don't take ownership of it, that's the problem. But if you make a mistake, fess up and say, hey, I was wrong. It's that simple.
Pros are that the video's going viral on both TikTok and Instagram, and I'm not going to take it down because views are views, and I just don't care. And the second pro is that I just don't care. I don't care what anyone thinks of me, which is why I've become successful on social media. That's why I've got 4 million followers, because I just don't care. And everyone's DMing me, and like the one guy I posted on my stories, like calling me a liberal and telling me I'm taking it up the butt from my wife, like just like crazy things. Another guy like DM me, he's like, "You're a pussy, you're a beta." Okay.
On social media, yes, you're going to get DMs of people going to say something mean, nasty, try to make you feel bad, try to make you feel low of yourself when really they are just showing who they are at the end of the day. So anyone being super nasty, super hateful, that just shows a lot about you. Is it really that necessary? Again, if this guy here saying he doesn't care, that's bad as well. But again, you don't have to attack somebody.
You know what I mean? And it's funny, man. I think my toxic trait and my blessing at the same time is that I just don't care. That is what has gotten me to where I'm at. Dude, if I cared, do y'all think I would be eating raw goat testes and like doing all of
Now he went to the straight Fear Factor food eating contest and all this. This is pretty wild. But again, just admitting that you don't care and as a badge of honor, I think you should care, bro. Care about something. Have some heart. Have some compassion.